Hey, what's going on, welders? Natalio Cortez, will Let It Shine Welding. Do you guys know how to use hot start when it comes to stick welding? A lot of the times we can strike up and get our weld going. Other times, whether you're a beginner or an expert, you get stuck from time to time. It happens. And we need that assistance to get us a much easier start. And that's where the hot start comes in. It allows us to add additional amperage to start within a second or so, and then it goes back down to the original setting that we have on our machines, giving us a much easier, hotter start. This is part of the training that I show my students, whether they're beginners or have a little bit of experience, is how to strike up that electrode a lot easier and using that hot start. Here I'm showing you guys a few examples that I've seen, whether you're a new beginner, expert, just get in a good body position. A lot of the times I see people trying to angle themselves in unnecessary body positions. Do a dry run, get your feet established, get a good body position, a good line of sight established first, and then get ready to strike up. I start off all my students on a flat position, then move on to the horizontal, vertical, and overhead, just striking up, start in the arc, start in the puddle, pop off of it, go back into it, pop off of it, and see if you can maintain that 1/16, 1/8 of an arc length from that workpiece, so that you can maintain your arc, your puddle, and continue your weld. Once you get that established, then you want to start working on your tie-ins. In this 60-10 bead, I had 2 restarts, tie-ins. Right here, I'm moving on to the vertical, but I'm starting off with start, stop, establishing that arc length, and then running a bead vertically, stopping, doing a restart, a tie-in. You have to set yourself up for the tie-in. As you're welding and you know you're about to stop, set yourself up so that when you restart, you know exactly where to restart and what you're looking for on that good tie-in. So the electrodes that we work with are about 14 inches in length. So we're gonna have to stop and restart our weld and have a good tie-in. You want a weld to look like one solid weld versus having gaps in between the welds or excessive reinforcement. Here, I'm just adding some additional support on this overhead so that I can place my elbow on that, have a much steadier and better body position, establishing a good line of sight, pushing that electrode up on this overhead position. For the most part, every position is going to require a different angle with your electrode. So you're going to have to place that at a 45, straight out at a 90 on that electrode holder, or even bend that rod to give you a much steadier line of sight as you're pushing that electrode up on this overhead position. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm striking up, stopping, striking up, stopping. Once I establish that, run a bead and work on my tie-ins. Working with 6010 or a P5 electrode is very aggressive. It's got deep penetration and burns a lot hotter. Versus 7018, now we have that flux that needs to shield that arc, that puddle. And if you're not careful striking up, you can tear off some of that flux, and when you strike up, that's how you end up with that porosity. Typically, I like to use the scratch method, but you guys see me here tapping into that plate in front of me, and I'm just trying to break through that flux. Anytime we're welding with 7018 and we stop our weld, if we're not careful, that flux will create a crust at the very tip of it, so we have to punch through it to access that metal so that we can strike up metal to metal, allowing us to get our arc going and establish our puddle. I have other videos that show what I'm doing here is just whipping out that 7018 when I know I'm going to stop my weld and I have plenty of electrode left. I whip out that electrode so that that flux doesn't solidify at the end of it. It comes off of it so that I can use my glove to tear off that light flux, allow me to access that metal. And same thing as a 6010. You want to strike up, start, stop, establish that good arc length, and then work on your tie-ins. Work on it flat, horizontal, vertical. And right here, I'm using my left hand to help assist me as I bring that electrode forward. I have another video that shows in more detail how to do this. But typically, what you want to do is slightly hold that electrode and push both hands together. Once they start coming together, you can feel that electrode and move your left hand over that electrode pushing through with that right hand and getting that left hand out of that heat so you don't get burnt up. That 14-inch electrode can get very shaky, especially working with this overhead. That's especially whenever I use my left hand to hold that electrode about halfway and then bring both hands together, bringing down my left hand away from that heat. I don't push it closer to that heat. And then once I start feeling that electrode hit my glove, I move my left hand over it and continue to push through with that right hand to finish out my weld. You know you're doing everything right whenever that slag from that 7018 just peels off of that weld. I hope you guys got something out of this. Don't forget to like, share, comment on the video. Appreciate the support. Until next time, God bless. Let it shine, baby.